Welcome back, dear friends. I've got my summery shirt on, even though it's quite wintry, but it was clean and it was the next one in the row. That shows how much thought I give to getting dressed each day. Anyway, I'm getting on with the Climatic Revelator. Let me show you. Look at all the exciting parts. Oh, all sprayed up, a treat. All little specks of dust sanded off, and they look lovely. And I've even cut the chimes some time ago, and I was making these. And I was trying to make my own chimes, having run out of a source of the wind chimes that I was originally using. So I bought the right tube, but I was drilling the hole too near the top, and I could not get them to chime. Thankfully, at some point, I thought perhaps the sound waves need nothing to stop them bouncing back up and down inside the tube, and I was right. I moved it down a bit here, and someone kindly sent me the equation for it, which I can't remember. But anyway, 35mm from the top, and it makes such a huge difference. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. So I've got them cut with a normal pipe cutter. That's nice. And I'm about to start. Isn't this lovely? The wonderful laser cutter yet again, being able to cut felt. It cuts felt beautifully. There's the other bits. There's a bit for the thing that sits in the middle of the chimes to stop them knocking into each other. Another bit to go on the bottom of the switch, which in fact I can put that on now. Look at that. It's lovely having little incidental bits of red. As you know, on my machines I do like to do that. So we've got the five, can't count, little cushions here where the chime mechanism, as it gets lifted up, can plonk down on there so it doesn't make a noise. Got the beautiful little bearings attached. Oh, they're so sweet. And I'm about to string it all up, because I need to now attach the chimes onto this with some nice fabric covered cotton. Try something that fast. And I thought, how am I going to support this? And I thought, I'm sure I remember making a jig. Here it is. What a joy. So I can screw that onto there and then clamp that in here. Fabulous. It was all going so well. Beautiful. All chimed up and whatever. Then I was about to screw it onto here and realised that I fixed this together the wrong way up. Fantastic. That screw hole there should be down there. What an idiot. So I'm going to have to make these a little bit clearer. I'm looking forward to getting on with this. I really want to see Victoria the Automaton singing along with the teensy that I managed to get apart from its audio board that didn't work properly for some reason, so I'll get that sorted out. Anywho, I still haven't received the bearings from Technobots. They do supply things for reasonable prices, but I remember that they always take so long. I should have had the bearings in stock, but never mind. In the end, having wasted far too long looking for washers and things that would have a 6mm hole in the middle and a 13mm outer diameter, which to simulate the bearings so I could actually get this fixed on, I remembered I had a laser cutter, so I cut two. The reason I need to get that on is because I've got all these exciting things to fix down. I want to be able to do all that, but I can't until I know, because that's on that offset spindle. So it basically, I can move it up and down. I've adjusted it as best I can, roughly where I think it meshes perfectly. I've checked with a rod that is vertical, and it is. Now I know the height. So with the rod I can set the height, and then all these other dimensions come off that, so to speak. There we are. Once I know that, it's not very helpful, is it? Because it doesn't actually say how that relates to this top bit. Never mind. But now I can actually get on and get the rest of it assembled. That's what I'm talking about, and it all works and latches at the right time, which I'm very pleased about. I've got a washer either side of this bit, and also that other little bit, and it's very difficult to get a washer down there. Little top tip, bit of sellotape, stick the washer just on the edge of the end of the sellotape, fold the sellotape over so it's double, and you can just poke it down, line it up with a hole, then finish pushing whatever it is through, and then pull the sellotape off. Hey, thank you very much. Right, so the next thing, oh yes, I'm about to put this on. I forgot about that. What a lovely bright colourful shirt. So some may say it looks rather like a tablecloth. So, last chance to look at the little scenes. Well, from above anyway, because before I go and scratch stuff and mess things up, I'm going to fix the top back on. Well, back on, it hasn't been on yet, and then that means that they'll be viewable down through the middle whilst being illuminated by that LED. That's so lovely when a plan comes together. It just fitted beautifully. I just gently tightened the screws down and it pulled down. It didn't crack, thankfully. Nothing didn't line up. In fact, there's a better way of saying that. Everything lined up. And you can use it as a bathroom mirror, sort of. So when you look directly down into it, as you can see, it's reflecting off that. With this 3-watt LED, heavens to Betsy, I hear you cry, 3-watt LED in an enclosed space with no fans or cooling. Well, 3 things. That's 3 things. One is it's run off a pulse width modulated output from the Arduino at an incredibly low power in effect. And that's where I add a sort of pseudo-random flickering, gentle flickering effects. It looks very nice. So it's never run anywhere near full power. I think it's probably sort of 8th power or something like that. And it's wired in series with 3 diodes, which means that even if 5 volts was applied, and I've fiddled around and tested it, each diode will drop 0.7 volts, which means that this then runs at a very dim level anyway. And thirdly, there's a 250 milliamp fuse there, so if everything all goes horribly wrong, and I can't imagine how it could, but if it did, the fuse would blow if it tried to draw its full amount of current. So thank you very much, because I was really surprised at how little light was required to actually illuminate, backlight these things. I suppose it's not surprising because it's all focused and you're looking straight at it. So, next job, I'm going to put the knob on, I think. How exciting! Heavens to Betsy. I don't know where I am. I think the last bit of this video was 5 days ago, because along with the lovely bearings, I got a virus. How great. It's taken my son a whole week to get over it, and he's 14. So, I don't know how long it's going to take me. 4 days in bed I've had. It is so frustrating, knowing that I've got all these exciting things downstairs to get on with, and just thinking, right, what would I do? I need to mark that screw hole. Oh, I just can't be bothered. It's awful, but at least I had YouTube, so I've had an educational experience. So, I've struggled up this morning. I've taken the dog for a walk and then had to have a lie down like you do. But I am determined to get on with the Climatic Revelator. It is so nearly finished. Oh, I'm fixing this down. I've drilled 2 holes at an angle. I've got 2 lovely screws. And this is what I was talking about with the angle of the dangle. You can see the radius now. And I think that just looks lovely. It's excellent. That's what I'm talking about. Getting rid of that and replacing it with one of these. These are 6 by 13 by 5 millimeter bearings. 6 the inner diameter, 13 the outer diameter, and 5 the depth. And doesn't that just look beautiful? Ooh. So put the other one in the bottom. Finally get that fixed down. That's on there. Oh, look, dear friends. You know how I can't resist a spinny thing, and that just spins beautifully. And that's lovely because I got that set up using those spacers and they're absolutely spot on. The teeth mesh, but not too tightly. And obviously I've still got, if I loosen that bit on the back, I can still get it away or closer a little bit. Next job, put something on there to hold, oh that's right, I've got to put something over here to return the chain. There, that's it. Right, put something there to return the chain. Like so. With another lovely bearing thing. And I've lined it up with a rod running over here to simulate the chain, and another rod running up there to simulate that chain. Lovely. Right, I think it's time to string the chain on. Let's talk joining chains with a tripod to hold the camera, because I've zoomed in a lot. I've got this tool which I've mentioned before. Ball chain is amazing stuff. It's ever so tough, durable. That's at one end, so you put the ball and you squeeze that little pin in, it opens up, and you get rid of the ball on one end, which leaves you with, if you can see that, the little sort of eye piece sticking out, the link. Then you use that end again to partially open this one. You put that in and then you reshape the ball. Now I bought this thinking, yippee-doo, it cost an absolute fortune. And then I found it was actually for 5mm diameter ball chain, because it's got this little thing that you squeeze together and reshapes the ball. But I found a pair of pliers is just as good. And Blue Tack's really good, because you don't have enough arms otherwise. I've got to sort of slot that back in there and then squeeze it together. There isn't enough memory on this planet to actually film me doing that and actually achieving anything. So I'll get back to you when I've done it. Remarkable, I tells you. That took about a minute. That's amazing. And I've just squeezed it back up and sort of around and about a bit with the pliers, and you'd never know. And it's absolutely solid. I know, because I've actually tried to pull it apart just to experiment, and it really is such tough stuff. Obviously, the other important thing is to make sure that you can take the chain on and off without having to dismantle everything. And I'm very pleased to say you can. And there we have it. Round there, this is the tension. You can see how it works now. Just keeps enough tension on there to keep it all lined up. Right, I'll get this on a jig and we'll see what happens. It's time for some programming. So I've got the laptop plugged in through the UL in the bottom into the Arduino Uno. I've powered the whole thing up as well from the 5V power supply, because I don't want to risk drawing too much current through the USB and the Arduino 5V out for this. And I was just looking at the sketch and I'd forgotten I'd actually written a test program as well. The nice thing about the Arduino is when you first switch it on, unprogrammed, all of the in outputs are all set to input. That's right. So theoretically there shouldn't be any blue smoke released. I will upload this now and get back to you when I have something to show you. Alright, it's just uploading. The first thing it should test is the stepper motor. Little orange lights come on to show that it's uploading. What's happened? Anything happening? Done uploading. Nothing's happening. Right, back to the drawing board. Well, the stepper motor's not working, but I remembered I'd connected the LED, the illuminating one, to the PIR sensor to check that. Look at that! Which is very handy because it shows they're both working. So I'll stand absolutely still, start moving. Isn't that lovely? Let's see how far away. I do love these PIR sensors. They're absolutely amazing. So if I stand here, yeah, picks me up. That's a beautiful thing. A thing of beauty, in fact. Right, I need now to go back. Oh, look! I didn't even notice that. The meter's lit up and it should be showing the right pressure. I took down, because it's a pulse width modulated output, and I didn't want to risk it slamming over if it's a different sort of meter movement. So I've set it to a maximum of 200 rather than 255, which it should be. Looks like I can go up to 255, but I don't know why I'm not getting any signal on the stepper motor output interface. I'll investigate and get back to you. And of course, now we have an illuminating LED. You get your first look at one of the scenes, which is nice. It hasn't got the lens on the front, but you get the idea, and that's so nice. As you move past it, you can see that the figures move at a different rate to the sky and the trees. Now I'm trying to figure out why the interface doesn't work, and I've just tried this. You love it. I just rediscovered it fairly recently. It's fabulous. It just allows you to read logic levels audibly, so I've just put that on there. I'm not going to do it because I've run out of hands, but basically it showed me that each of the 4 outputs that should be driving that interface board are working. So the output's working. I've even got the spare interface on that board running the meter illuminating, which works as well. So it's really weird. There must be some other fault on that board. And handily it's buried under all of the wiring. How fantastic. This is why this is so useful, because I'm just checking the inputs. I've just got it cycling round and round and round. You can see I've done that with each of the 4 inputs, and in turn they're doing that, which is correct. But on the outputs, they're switched to ground. So every so often they go low. But there should be a positive pin, supply pin to the motor, and the end one. And it isn't. Well, that's interesting and a little frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. There's a little plug-on connecting link so that you can actually run it from the actual motor from a different source of plus volts, if you like, rather than the logic voltage. So you could run a 12 volt stepper motor off this if you wanted to. And it had broken it. I'll show you. It should just link across there. I've never known that before. Somehow it wasn't making a connection, so I've soldered it across. But now when you switch it on, you get that effect. That's what we're after. Thank goodness for that test, because I probably would have worked out there was some problem with it at some point when it wasn't going round. Right, I'll put that back together and we'll see whether we can actually get the carousel and things turning. Who's that? Who's been pestering me for about an hour? I'm going to get this done first. Oh, beautiful. So lovely. Her teeth were chattering then. Bless her. Yeah. I don't even know that I've got the energy to go for a walk, to be honest with you, Zig. Oh, look. It's fading up beautifully. Isn't that lovely? And then it's going to turn around and hopefully go to the right scene. Oh, no, it isn't. What's it doing? It's going to display the last 8 hours, or last 24 hours, rather. That's right. That's good. Because, of course, it's lost everything when you switch it off. Then is it going to turn around? It's lovely that all the mechanisms are working. I don't know what I haven't fitted the chime on, but that's lovely. As you can see, that is working properly. It's lifting the hammer and holding it back until it's lined up over the chime. So I'm pleased about that. And where's it stopped? It's stopped in the right position. Look, just experimenting with a chime. That's perfect. They're all knocking together because I haven't put that hammer thing, but that's lovely. I realised when I first started I'd got these little raised cams exactly wrong, so that the hammer was falling between each of the chimes. Live and learn. Make another note to myself, but that's lovely. I'm very pleased with that. Excellent. Look what's just arrived. These wonderful things, which are book magnifiers. They're Fresnel lenses. Fabulous invention, and they are perfect for steampunk machines because they don't give a perfect representation or magnification, so to speak. They're fine if you're sitting them flat on a book. If you lift them up a bit, you do get some distortion because of the Fresnel effect, but they just make the optics look perfect. Now I can get the customer's Climatic Revelator complete. How very exciting. Once that's sitting on there, I've got to cut the circle out, obviously, but then it means I can put all these bits together, destructions there, and get it finished. I'm so pleased, and the chimes work beautifully. So exciting. I'm going to get on and do that now. It's a shame, but basically there's not really any way around just cutting out and throwing away the rest of it. But because the Fresnel lens consists of loads and loads of concentric circular rings around the centre point, it just doesn't look right. I could probably get 2 out of there, but it just doesn't look right. And it really is amazing because look, it looks like it's actually a convex lens. Isn't that amazing? And it works just by having hundreds of little, I don't know whether you can see, hundreds of the start of lots of little ridges that actually have the right radius, as though they were going over, but only just go a little bit. And the great thing is it saves loads of material and loads of weight, which is why they use them in things like lighthouses, because they are light enough to be able to move around a light source. Fabulous. And in theatrical lighting as well, where you don't need perfect focusing and things. They're absolutely brilliant things. Absolutely incredible. If that was made of glass, or the solid plastic version, it would be right up here. Look at that, a thing of beauty. What I love about designing these machines is that each part is beautiful in its own right. When you combine them all, it's just whatever part of it you look at, it's just lovely. Excellent. I'll get this screwed on. Look at that, will you? Oh, what a joy with that lens. It's difficult to film it because of the brightness of it, but you can see the mirror inside. From looking at it at a distance, you just get the full view. And you can see everything moving with lots of lovely old Victorian style optical distortions and things. It's lovely. Let's give it a go and see. I'm going to switch it down to, and also the pressure has fallen for the first time. It's typical, isn't it? Get one of these machines finished and ready and you want to test it, and the pressure stays absolutely at 1040 for a whole week, but it started dropping. So let's switch this now down to 24-hour pressure history. Now it's going to replay the last 24 hours of pressure, but I've only just switched it on, so it's just I load when you first switch it on the arrays with a load of rising numbers, so it reaches the top, and then look, it turns, and the chimes work beautifully. Oh, what a joy! And the chain turning and moving with, oh, it's just, so it goes through each time, each hour actually, it'll do this. And if there's a sudden change in pressure, it'll do it as well. Oh, so pleased. Right, I'll leave that on to make sure that everything works. Very pleased with that. Thanks very much for watching. The end of another video. How fantastic. We nearly got, well, the Climatic Revelator is finished, and the barometric prognosticator. I'm just waiting for a replacement wireless weather sensor to arrive so I can properly test that, as the one I had didn't seem to work for some reason. All very exciting. Thanks very much for watching. If you've got any questions or queries or need any help with your own exciting inventions, please leave them in the comments. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time.